You're listening to the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the #1 sports talk show on the planet, The Doug Stewart Show.
This is a revolution in radio, the realest, trillest sports talk show in America, The Doug Stewart Show.
Broadcasting live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
This is sports talk for the people.
Follow Stewart Media and Entertainment right now on Facebook to stay connected and locked in for upcoming events like the Couples and Cocktail Series, viewing parties, and much, much more. Up next, get ready to ride raw with the Doug Stewart Show.
This is sports talk with hot sauce, Texas Pete hot sauce, the Doug Stewart Show.
Exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
Yes! Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all of your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BB Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's BV, V as in victory, mobileapps.com, and tell them Doug Stewart sent you. Yes, sir.
Doctor, this is the mayor talking.
All right.
Doctor,
Come on, what?
always do the right thing.
If you came here to hear for fake, you are in the wrong place. We are for real around here. We keeps it real. This is the Doug Stewart Show, the livest, the realest, the trillest sports talk show in America. Are you not entertained? This is Sports Talk with Hot Sauce, Texas Pete Hot Sauce, the Doug Stewart Show. Yes! Game time. Yes, sir. What's happening? Yes, sir. It is game time. Thank you so much for joining your boy on the Doug Stewart Show. This is a Man Talk Monday. Women can talk too, though. Need your ballers, your busters, your game balls, your goats, all of that stuff, man. A tremendous weekend in the world of sports, and oh boy, we're going to get into it all today, man. Bring that beat back one more time. Yes, sir. Oh. All right, so now I believe, I guess. Yeah, now I believe in them Atlanta Falcons. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. And, wow. I mean, there's something about football, man. There's something about the fall weather, the leaves turning colors, football, college, and pro, man. And then there's also something about when the hometown team is kicking much ass. right, so we'll get into that in a second. But obviously today is a Man Talk Monday. On Mondays, we do Ballers and Busters. Some people call them Game Balls and Goats, but we call them Ballers and Busters around here on the Doug Stewart Show. As well as we're going to take phone calls. We'll read a lot of your chat messages. Whatever you want to get into today, we will do it on the Doug Stewart Show. But the big thing on a Monday is Ballers and Busters. So we kind of look at all of the premium performances this past weekend in the world of college and pro football and do all of that. If you're new to the show, thank you so much. A couple of things you need to do. You need to follow the show on Spreaker.com. Hit the little follow button on Spreaker.com, as well as you need to download my app, the Doug Stewart Show app, from your app store as well. And then the last thing you need to do, back to Spreaker, is you need to hit the little chat bubble and jump into the chat room. The chat room is inhabited by the Stewies. That's what I call them. And I call it the Fantasy Island of Sports and Guide Chat, the best sports and guide chat room in America. Yes. Yes, sir. So just trust me on this. I mean, we have more fun around here than you can shake a stick at. All right, so very eventful weekend. What did I do this weekend? Obviously tailgated on yesterday, Falcons and Houston Texans. Sorry-ass Houston Texans. We'll talk about them in a second. What else did I do? Before that even, man, episode number 5. Yeah, episode number 5 of the Two Live Stews on 640 WGST. And the old Ryan Stewart is trying to come out. The old Ryan Stewart is trying to come out. But you know what? We figured it out. We figured it out a long time ago that people like that Ryan Stewart, where he just says a bunch of just unruly, disrespectful, indignant stuff. But it works. It works. And I guess, and if you listen to the Stews back in the day, you know that's kind of like, for lack of a better term, I wouldn't call myself a good cop, but in the role of the Two Live Stews, I'm kind of like the good cop, and Ryan's like the bad cop, and it works. And so people are on one side or the other, like, man, y'all ninjas are crazy. And so Ryan, talked about pitching tents. See, I can do that type of conversation and that type of stuff on this show. But 640 is very conservative, 640 AM WGST. So 640 is very conservative, and we talked about a bunch of stuff that we should probably stay away from. We've been exiled for 3 years from terrestrial radio, so we had a little discussion. He was like, man, listen, we don't need you to do too much of this stuff. This is a different audience, a different base. But he been fighting. For 4 weeks he's been fighting, and this past weekend he talked about pitching tents. He talked about broads. What else he talked about? He brought up Mike Vick, which you should never do in this town. He said a bunch of other inflammatory stuff, man. But once again, I think the Stewies absolutely love that type of stuff. So this past weekend in particular, you got more of a dose of the real Two Hot Stews than you have in the first 4 weeks. We'll see. I'm waiting on a phone call right now from the powers that be. And we've been through it a lot of times before, where after we do something or say something on the radio, we'll get that phone call. Hey, guys, can we see you in the office for a second? Walk in the office, all of the bosses sitting around. Clearly, they've been talking before we got in there. So I hope that's not the case. Hopefully, we'll be back again next Saturday morning on 640 WGST, but this past weekend was pretty good. 11 a.m., 640 WGST, as well as iHeartRadio, the Two Live Stews, the return of the Two Live Stews. If you want to listen to this past weekend's episode of the Two Live Stews or the previous 4, just go to StewartMediaAndEntertainment.com and just scroll down the episodes of shows, and you will see it right there. Also, watch my nephews on Saturday night. Uncle Doug, they absolutely love me. I got a couple stories about them boogers. So very eventful weekend, man. But the biggest thing that happened this weekend, man, there's 2 things that happened big. One, the Georgia Bulldogs lost. They got slaughtered. We'll talk about that, obviously. But the other big thing, man, was the Atlanta Falcons are 4-0. Praise his holy name. What? And I've been very hesitant to say that I think the Atlanta Falcons are real. But let me start off by giving them a ball award, man. The Atlanta Falcons deserve a Ball award, and now, after 4 weeks, after impressive wins on the road against Dallas, beating the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday night, I think the Atlanta Falcons are for real. I do. And the reason being is yesterday, they beat down a team that was supposed to get beat down. They've won a bunch of games in the fourth quarter, obviously. We talked about that all year long. But yesterday, a team that they are clearly better than, they put up 48 points, man. Looked very impressive. Marcus Trufant, the defensive back, looks like maybe the best defensive back in the league right now. The Atlanta Falcons get a Ball award. First win of the day. Damn it, they deserve it. Wow, Ball award to Dan Quinn. It's a different culture. And listen, let's be honest about it. And I like Mike Smith. Mike Smith was a very good coach for many, many years for this organization, man. But let's be honest about it. The last couple of years, man, the way the Falcons have been winning these games, Mike Smith and his staff would have found a way to lose half of these games at least, maybe more, maybe 3 out of 4 of these games. They would have found a way to lose these games. They wouldn't have made adjustments at halftime. And it seems like Dan Quinn and his staff, man, are excellent at doing just that. So Ball award to the Atlanta Falcons. Rise up, bitches. Yes, sir. Oh, man. And on the flip side of that, man, while we're on the subject, man, Buster award to the Houston Texans. They absolutely suck. And I mentioned this a while back. You can get lulled to sleep. That's the term they used to use back in the country. You can get lulled to sleep if you watch that Hard Knocks on HBO, because they kind of highlight and they emphasize all of the positives. And so when you watch the Houston Texans Hard Knocks on HBO this year, you're like, oh, man, this is a great team, and Bill O'Brien's a great coach, and wow, they got this player, and J.J. Watt, and this, that. No, the Houston Texans suck. They suck. And so I'm never going to pay attention to that Hard Knocks TV show again. Same thing has happened in the past with some of the other teams that they've had on there. It's all hype, man. It's all Hollywood. It's all production. Bill O'Brien cussing out everybody. You think this guy is some kind of freaking Newt Rockney or something like that. But they suck. They absolutely suck, man. And you know who else sucks too? And I should have looked up his name, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Well, Bill O'Brien sucks, the head coach, as well as the defensive coordinator. Okay, yeah, I'm probably a homer to a degree, and looking for Jadeveon Clowney to break out and be that player that we saw at the University of South Carolina for many years. They got this ninja playing outside linebacker. That's just stupid. It's just stupid. So, Ndamukong Suh not playing the position or the way that he normally was in Detroit. They got Jadeveon Clowney playing outside linebacker at 6'5", 290 pounds. That's just silly. So they're not putting these players. I always talk about this. You got to put your high draft picks in a position to succeed. You have to make it comfortable for them. Okay? Same thing I say about quarterbacks or whatever. You can't draft Jadeveon Clowney and have him as an outside linebacker in a 3-4 defense. That's just stupid, man. So the Houston Texans, y'all get the first Bust of the Day award on the Doug Stewart Show. Yes, you do. Studio audience feeling it today. Damn it, we feeling it today. We're going to have a great day today on the Doug Stewart Show. Day. Yes, sir. I told you how you can be a part of the chat on Spreaker.com, but you can also call the show old school style at 404-382-0338. You can also email me at Doug@theDougStewartShow.com. Ballers, busters, that's all we're going to do all day long. We'll also talk some birthdays. We'll read your chat. We'll take your phone calls, all of that stuff on the Doug Stewart Show. So don't go away. Keep it locked. In life, things happen, good and bad. And being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, What I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! We're doing some huge things here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the Doug Stewart Show, and the biggest thing being broadcasting other shows. That's right, we're executive producing other shows and playing them on my network. You may have a fantastic show or podcast, but do you have listeners? We got listeners. Over 9,000 followers to the Doug Stewart Show on the Spreaker platform, as well as over 200,000 plus listens to the network itself. So here's what you do. Go to Fiverr.com, that's Fiverr.com, and search the Doug Stewart Show or Stewart Media and Entertainment and get all the details. Or just hit up the producer, Tree at TreeAtTheDougStewartShow.com. That's spelled Trei. Tree at TheDougStewartShow.com, and come and do business with us on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Yes!
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt. Specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your number one advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
Yeah. Escobar season has returned. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all can hate us now if you want, but we ain't gonna stop. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Shouts out to 2 Live Stews. Yes, sir. Hey, the number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Speaking of shouts out, man, and Baller Awards. The Baller Award to the first cabinet, I think that's what Ryan calls them, the first cabinet. My man Tyrone the Bugman, LSU Harris, Spa Doja, holding down the tailgate yesterday was off the chain, man. Shouts out to the first cabinet. Thank y'all. Wow. So actually did double duty yesterday. The tailgate, after I left the tailgate, I went to Chef Rob's. Ryan does like a little viewing party out there on Sunday as well. Shouts out to Chef Rob's off of Roswell Road and what's that, Sandy Springs. Great turnout, man. Despite all the weather. I mean, obviously not the turnout that you would normally get. You know that whole thing about black women and their hair. So we still had a great time. We still had a great time at the tailgate and at Chef Rob's, man, checking out the games. And so shouts out to the first cabinet, man, for doing what they do, have been doing what they do for 10 years running. Thank y'all very, very much. We got like the support system on these streets, man. People root for the Stews so much, man. We got a support system, man, kind of like volunteers. People just want to see the Stews do well. Thank you very, very much. All right, the number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. First Ball Award I gave out was to the Atlanta Falcons, handling their business 4-0. Next weekend, another home game against the Washington Redskins, who got a big win on yesterday that nobody saw coming. I guess you could kind of see it because Philadelphia sucks too. And a big win over the Eagles, 23-20, ball award to them. They come to Atlanta next week. And so this game means a little bit more than it probably would have, or what we thought it would have meant early in the season or before the season started. Cannot wait for that. I got a bunch of people from the low country of South Carolina, from Charleston, coming to town. So it's going to be a great weekend next week. Speaking of which, man, prayers to the folks, obviously, on the coast, on the eastern coast, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, man. I don't think Joaquin has just I think it's actually turned out to sea from what I understood the last reports I saw. So it didn't actually hit mainland or the coast to the degree that they thought a couple of days ago, but it's still dishing out a ton of rain. My mother is fine. She says that, she's got a little bit of flooding in part of her yard, but outside of that, it's okay. Charleston is really flooded in a lot of areas. So pray for my folks, man, in the low country of South Carolina and on the coast in general. Hurricane Joaquin. All right, 404-382-0338. Other big story from this past weekend, if you're Metro Atlanta, if you're Georgia, if you're in this part of the country, man, Alabama taking on Georgia, and Alabama just rolls. Roll Tide. I mean, just roll. All right, so obviously, ball award, man, to Alabama. Derrick Henry, 26 carries, 148 yards. Nick Chubb still ekes out 146 yards. I don't know how he does that because they really handled him. He got most of that in the second half. Kind of in a position where the game was already out of hand. 20 carries, 146 yards. So his string of, I think it's 120 plus yard games continues as a starter for the Georgia Bulldogs. But trust me on this. And me and Ryan had this conversation on Saturday morning, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Somehow it came up. One of the questions, I believe, in the I know what it was. One of the questions in the 10 the hard way. We were talking about Leonard Fournette, and I was saying how Leonard Fournette to me is the first guy that I can think of in the past 30 years, okay, around 30 years, that I say I would include in the category, in the conversation with Herschel Walker and Bo Jackson, okay? He's that guy. Big guy, 230 pounds, like 6'1" or whatever, maybe even a little bit taller than that. Big brute of a running back, okay? Also has the speed, also has the quickness, also has the elusiveness as well. And Ryan was saying how he like Nick Chubb, more than Fournette. I'm like, no, man, no. I know you played in the NFL, but trust me on this, man. Trust me on this. Leonard Fournette is special. And a ball award to him, and he gets his third 200-plus rushing yard game again this weekend. Ball award to Leonard Fournette. But if you just watch Fournette and you watch Nick Chubb, no disrespect. And now I'm in Georgia, and so it's always a fine line between, giving a real opinion and being a homer. I love Nick Chubb. Solid running back. But he's not special. He's not special like Fournette and Bo Jackson and Herschel Walker and them cats. When you saw those three running backs, or when you see these three running backs when they were in college, they looked special. And that's what Leonard Fournette is, man. But back to the Georgia game, man. They get humiliated once again. And what is it, 35 years in running? 1980. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. 1980, every single year, the Georgia faithful think this is the year they're going to win a national championship. I posted something on Facebook and on Twitter this past weekend talking about that fact that since 1980, the Georgia Bulldogs think they're going to win a national championship, and every year the fan base is disappointed, And in effect, the way you lost that game this past weekend, I don't care if you run the table. You're not going to be in a position with that terrible display of football on TV getting destroyed at home. You're not going to find yourself in a place back to be in that playoff in the Final Four teams in college football. You're just not. You're not. And so it's another year wasted. It's another year wasted, and then the Georgia people will come and tell me, well, we still got a chance to win the SEC and this, that, and the other. I differ from a lot of people on my thoughts about that. It ain't about winning the SEC. It's about winning a national championship. We used to always have this debate whenever the Braves would win another pennant. We talk about the Braves winning another division title, and that's good. And a lot of people are satisfied with that. No, it's not. It's about winning World Series. It's about winning national championships. And if you're okay with Georgia just contending and winning 9, 10 games every year, that's a problem. That's part of the problem right there. That is part of the problem right there, apathy. Okay, everything is okay. We're cool with Mark Richt, and I like Mark Richt. Mark Richt is a great guy, but it ain't working. If your ultimate goal is to win a national championship, you got to change some stuff. And yeah, everybody's scared. Well, we do like Tennessee did. We get rid of Philip Fulmer, and Tennessee's been struggling ever since. That's fine, but I got to try. That's my whole thing, is I got to try. And if you continue to do the same thing and get the same results, that's called insanity. And Georgia, once again, is disappointed. No run for a national championship. You can forget all about that. It's a wrap. You got humiliated this past weekend on your own damn field. Grayson Lambert, back to life, back to reality. Bryce Ramsey, he sucks too. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. He sucks too. Big discussion yesterday at the tailgate. As well as on my social media on Facebook, I posted this question, or I posted this point. One of the Stewies was at the tailgate yesterday, and he mentioned to me that you do realize that the Georgia Bulldogs, in effect, passed on Cam Newton, Blake Sims, used to play for Alabama, who did tremendous last year, his 1 year starting for the Crimson Tide under Lane Kiffin, threw for a gazillion yards, looked fantastic to me, running that spread offense. As well as Deshaun Watson, the quarterback for the Clemson Tigers. Now, what does that tell you? Now, these guys are from Georgia. They're all Georgia guys. And one way or the other, in their recruitment, Cam Newton, the talk was they wanted Cam to come to Georgia, but they wanted him to play tight end. The man is 4-0 right now in the NFL. Number 1 draft pick, Heisman Trophy winner, national champion. So Georgia allegedly wanted to make Cam Newton into a tight end. Same thing for Blake Sims. They were recruiting him supposedly, but they wanted this ninja to play running back. Allegedly. Now, all I'm saying is this. Georgia gets its pick of the talent in this state of Georgia. If you wanted these guys, you could have probably got them. You could have pushed the issue. You could have amped up recruiting or whatever to get these guys to come to Georgia. But you're content on Grayson Lambert. You're content on Bryce Ramsey. And these cats are destroying college football. Ball award once again to Deshaun Watson, man, as they handle their business this past weekend against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. You got to take a look in the mirror. You got to take a look in the mirror. And I know because I named 3 black quarterbacks, the tendency is to think that I'm talking about saying that Mark Richt and Georgia doesn't recruit black quarterbacks or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, you can assume that if you want, and I guess it could be a discussion on that. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is at that quarterback position, you are not recognizing talent. You aren't. You aren't. Okay? Because for Nick Saban to take Blake Sims and start him at quarterback over Jake Coker last year with all of the hoopla surrounding him and him to do what he did, okay? And for the Clemson Tigers to get Deshaun Watson, and this guy looks phenomenal out there running that spread offense for Clemson. And for Cam Newton to be as big as he was, 6'5", 230 pounds in college, won the Heisman Trophy once again, won a national championship, 4-0 right now in the NFL in his 4th year in the league. You got to take a look in the mirror. Simple as that. Simple as that. You got to take a look in the mirror. You might know talent, but at that quarterback position, you have to reevaluate your evaluating. Yes, because Grayson Lambert, man, he had that good little stretch. What was it against? Against South Carolina and against somebody else, one of the smaller schools, passing like 90% or whatever. Grayson Lambert, man, back to life, back to reality. What are your thoughts on that, man? What are your thoughts on Mark Richt? What are your thoughts on that Georgia program? What are your thoughts on the quarterback misses that they've had over the last couple of years? Let's talk about it on the Doug Stewart Show, man. Let's talk about it on the Doug Stewart Show. I am feeling great. Yes, sir. Football is back. Damn it, we already halfway through the season. Almost. What are your thoughts if you're a Georgia Bulldog fan? Alabama, roll tide. Good golly, they look good this past weekend. Derrick Henry, 26 carries, 148 yards. Ball award to that young man. It's going to be a good crop of running backs coming out this year, man. A very good crop of running backs coming out this year in college football. 404-382-0338. When we get back from the break, all I'm going to do is read chat. We'll talk some birthdays and do what we do right here on the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BB Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bbmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you.
We're back, Dogs and Poodles. It's Doug and Ryan Stewart of the 2 Live Stews.
Tune in to Talk Radio 640 WGST every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. to get all your college and pro football talk.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Bruce Hagen, Hagen-Law.com. Thanks, Bruce.
We're doing some huge things here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the Doug Stewart Show, and the biggest thing being broadcasting other shows. That's right, we're executive producing other shows and playing them on my network. You may have a fantastic show or podcast, but do you have listeners? We got listeners. Over 9,000 followers to the Doug Stewart Show on the Spreaker platform, as well as over 200,000 plus listens to the network itself. So here's what you do. Go to Fiverr.com, that's Fiverr.com, and search the Doug Stewart Show or Stewart Media and Entertainment and get all the details. Or just hit up the producer, Tree, at TreeAtTheDougStewartShow.com. That's spelled T-R-E-I. Tree@thedougstewartshow.com and come and do business with us on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Yes! The realest, treeless, most unfiltered sports talk and guy talk show in America. This is the Doug Stewart Show. So I watched my nephews this weekend, Saturday night. Ryan and his wife had to go see a man about a horse or something like that. So Saturday night, I watched my nephews, man, and I got it's Miles and it's Mason. One's like 5, one's 4. Ryan really knocked them out real quick back-to-back there. But they're great kids. They're fantastic kids. But my little nephew, the smallest one, Mason, man, he's got an attitude problem. I mean, a real attitude problem. Now, it's understandable. It's understandable being his daddy's son and my nephew that he'd have an attitude, kind of like inherent. That's just part of it, the equation. But this kid's got a real attitude, so we're watching the game. We're watching TV, and I make them sit down like my grandmother used to make me and my brother used to sit down. You sit your ass down. Don't move. Do not move. So I even did this little fun thing. I put this big blanket on the ground, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I put this big blanket on the ground in the basement, so we're watching the game, and I was like, look, guys, you need to stay on this blanket. If you come off this blanket, alligators are going to eat you up. So they go, no, alligators. So they're playing along. I think they really know that there are no real alligators in my basement. But they're playing along like 4 and 5-year-olds would do. And then like 5 minutes later, Mason looks at me, stands up, and he puts his hand on his chin. And he says, Uncle Doug, I don't think there's any alligators out there. And he commences to walk right off of the damn blanket. He looks at me. He basically called my bluff. He was like, Ninja, ain't no damn alligators out there. And he kindly just walks right off of the blanket into the sea full of alligators. And I'm like, oh, this boy's crazy. Then the next night, and I told Ryan all of this, and I told him I was going to talk about it on the show. Not the next night, the next morning, we're up at breakfast, and I told him to do something, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I told him to do something. This man looks at me with a straight face and is like, we don't have to listen to what you say. I says, what? I said, what did you say? And he repeated it. We don't have to listen to what you say. I went up and I grabbed this joker by the collar, and I shook his ass so much, I shook the living spit out of his ass. Ooh, yes, you do. I said, yes, you do. When you in my house, you're going to listen to what I got to say. I got all the authority to whip your ass. I'm your dad's brother. I'm your uncle, and you're going to do what I say. And he just looks at me and kind of like, yeah, whatever, folk. Whatever, folk. This kid is 4 freaking years old. Yes, Tree.
And now you know how I felt Saturday.
The voice you hear is a producer to the 2 Live Stews and the Doug Stewart Show, Tree, the Tree of Life. What do you mean Saturday? What happened?
I mean, that's exactly the way you felt. That's how I felt dealing with you 2 clown faces Saturday at WGST. Shout out to, I don't support rebellious children, but damn it. Now you know.
I don't know what you're talking about, Tree. I thought Saturday's show was very good. I thought it was great, actually. I mean, but most of the time we do great shows. But I don't know what that means. Or are you trying to identify with a rebellious kid? I told Ryan. I told my sister-in-law. I was like, listen. I looked him straight in the face when I took the kids back. I said, let me tell y'all something. You better nip Mason's attitude in the bud right now. Because this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. And they both agreed and like, yeah, he does have a little attitude problem. I'm like, where does he get that from? How can a 4-year-old have an attitude problem and talk to grown people like that? But he's a great athlete. He's a very smart kid. They're very smart kids. I love them to death. But he's got to work on that attitude, man. Today celebrating a birthday, man. Grant Hill, 43 years old. Happy birthday to him. And he would have celebrated a birthday today, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Bernie Mac would have turned, I'm not going to even try to do the math. He was born in 1957, and he died in 2008. So R.I.P. to the great Bernie Mac. Hey, this segment is brought to you by my folks at BV Mobile Apps. Do you need an app? Are you an entertainer? My folks at BV, that's Boy Victory, bvmobileapps.com. It's actually Black Vibes mobile apps. bvmobileapps.com. They specialize in apps for entertainers. So they actually have developed the Doug Stewart Show app. Very functional. Never had an issue with it at all. Not as much as you think as far as cost, and it doesn't take as long as you think to develop. Okay, they can really snap it out there real quick. They got like a system, fantastic company, great customer service. Look online, check out my folks at bvmobileapps.com and tell them Doug Stewart sent you. Talking about ballers and busters from this past weekend. Game balls and goats. That's what we're doing here on the Doug Stewart Show. From Eugene Jackson, let me read some of your chat, man. One of the big aspects of the Doug Stewart Show. From Eugene Jackson, is Atlanta for real? Right now, they get a baller award. Wow. And I think Eugene Jackson is a Falcon hater. Thank you. I mean, trust me, if you've listened to the show, to this show, as well as the Stews over the first 4 weeks of the season, I've been very hesitant to say that the Falcons are for real. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl, but now I believe what they're doing isn't just smoke and mirrors. I really believe there's a lot of substance to this team that Dan Quinn has brought. They're very disciplined in everything that they're doing. I think the Falcons are going to be a good team this year. I think they're definitely going to make the playoffs. I think they can make the playoffs easily. So I like what they're doing. Clay Davis' Sheed advisor. Georgia Bulldogs got neutered last Saturday. They did. From Thorny Switch, Ball Award to my Saints for beating the Cowboys. I guess they get a Ball Award on a win. J.B. Jennings, Ball Award to my Gators for whipping Ole Miss's ass. I called it. And Buster Award goes to Mark Richt and those Bulldogs for not showing up versus Bama. Richt continues to disappear in big games when the lights are brightest. Hey, Miss Thorny. You're right. Talked about that earlier, man. And, you know, we're very, what's the word I want to use? We're very carefree in the South. And we're happy just to be good. I talked about the comparison between, the Bulldogs and the Braves. And everything's fine. We won 9 or 10 games. Mark Richt's a great guy. It's fine. We don't want to beat Tennessee and try to get a new coach and try to find somebody to get a new voice in here. So we're fine. We're fine competing for the SEC championship. The apathy is just horrible. I've always said, man, if it ain't working, if you're not winning championships, you got to try something different. Now, maybe it doesn't work out, but damn it, you got to try. Once again, the definition of insanity. And I think that's what's going on right now with the Georgia Bulldogs. Mark Richt did a great job, has been doing a great job. Give him a gold watch, retirement party, or whatever kind of way the party that you give a guy that's exiting your program from being the head coach. And move on and try someone else, man. Get a different voice in there. From Sandman 4, what up, Sandman? As much as I don't want to do it, Buster Award to UGA and Mark Richt. He loved losing big games. Texas Tie Ball Award to the Bears for actually beating Oakland. Yeah, Oakland had that game too. Fail pay, Buster Award to Mark Richt. It's high time for him to leave. Ryan is right. He never wins the big games. Mitchell, baller to the Falcons. Buster to go Georgia to Georgia Bulldogs. From Nick Cash. What up, Nick Cash? He says, Mike Smith was a buster. Dude always reminded me of a used car salesman. Laugh out loud. The brother beloved. Dougie, how is this since you picked Tech to win the college football playoff? They have gone 0-3. Right now, the Yellow Jackets can't win a spelling bee. Buzz, 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 splat. So this past weekend, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. This past weekend, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets put up another stinker. And I mean an absolute stinker. And I believe it was homecoming. Against the North Carolina Tar Heels, man. And Georgia Tech, on a day where they honored my little brother, Ryan Stewart was actually the honorary captain for the game. At halftime, he also went out there for the coin toss before the game as well. And they go out there and they look piss poor. I mean, piss poor. And I don't know, man. Listen, you can go back and check the record. I don't know if you could. I don't know how you could. But I have never made such a bad prognostication of a sporting event or a team in almost 15 years of doing this. I haven't, man. I haven't. And Georgia Tech, I don't know what happened. The wheels have just come off this team. Absolutely terrible. Paul Johnson. And for many years, I railed on Paul Johnson, saying that, this offense isn't conducive to getting the best players in high school football, which is true. But last year, Justin Thomas and, what they'd been doing, I bought into the hype, and I was terribly, terribly wrong. I hope you didn't put no money on that pick. All right, when we get back from the break, man, all we're going to do is read chat. That's all we're going to do. The Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play. So, you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU.
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
To give you the history on this Doug Stewart and Tree Taylor battle in Trivia Crack. We just started playing last week. We played 3 games. I won the first one in handily fashion. And then Tree has come along to beat me 2 times in a row. All right. Now, I blame Trivia Crack for asking me dumbass questions about romance comedies from the 1980s. That's who I blame. But she's won. And I got to give her credit. What? I knew you were going to jump.
Like, when you talk about women, Tree has come along.
It got nothing to do with you being a woman.
No, I felt up.
Oh, wait. Did you just... What? Oh, my gosh. Did she just call me the N-word? Oh, damn. We made Doug Stewart Show history just now. As many times as I've almost uttered that term, you did it! And we don't have 7-second delay.
I'm fired.
You getting the BPA. You nominated for a Boiled Penis Award.
No.
Yes, you are. The first time in the Doug Stewart Show history, someone utters the N-word.
I'm sick of you.
You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Good thing we, on radio, traditional radio at FCC, be beating down my damn door right now. They're already looking for a reason to try to put me out of business. And you come up with this. Golly, True. You're better than that.
That girl is poison. You never trust a big button to smile.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Stewies, what's up? Tree here to talk about your home security and the security experts at Strickland Security. Everything the team at Strickland Security does is focused around increasing the security of your home, protecting your family, and your business. Most home security companies, especially the larger ones, want to sell you a cookie-cutter alarm system that maximizes their profits but not your security. The team at Strickland Security will install a customized alarm system that meets your budget and your security needs. This Atlanta-based company is here to solve all of your security problems. Whether you need your alarm system repaired, surveillance cameras installed, or your door locks replaced, Strickland Security is the solution. Don't wait. Call the experts at Strickland Security today. For more information, go to their website at stricklandsecurity.com or give them a call now at 800-422-9075. That's 800-422-9075 and tell them Tree sent you.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Man Talk Monday. Ballers and busters, game balls and goats from this past weekend. Shouts out to everybody that came out to the 2 Live Stews tailgate this past weekend, man. Off the chain. This weather has been killing us the last couple of weeks, though, man. I mean, it's crazy. But we had a great time yesterday, man. Hopefully the weather can break a little bit next week. The Redskins come to town. That's going to be good, just because we want to see if the Falcons can continue. Nobody really believes in the Redskins, I don't think. But they got a good win yesterday over Philly. Any win that you get in the NFL is a good win. But so they come in with a little momentum next week, taking on the Falcons. So the Falcons should be 5-0. I mean, did you ever think in your wildest dreams that you would be saying that the Falcons are probably going to be 5-0? Huh? Not I, said the dog. I was about to say the cat. We don't mess with cats. But so good weekend, man, for the Falcons. Good weekend for tailgating, as well as hanging out with the Stewies, man. Hey, this segment is brought to you by my folks from The Light of Scott. That's right. Check out The Light Podcast when you get the chance of insightful discussion on any and all things hip-hop, from album reviews of the Golden Age classics to controversial debates on the impacts of commercialization to spotlights on emerging artists from the underground. Scott, John L., and Det definitely get it in, and you can find these brothers on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn every Thursday, or on their website, thelightpodcast.com, thelightpodcast.com. And if you're able to, man, tell them that the Doug Stewart Show sent you. You know I'm all into that hip-hop. So shouts out to the lightpodcast.com. And that's L-I-G-H-T, thelightpodcast.com. And tell them Doug Stewart sent you. All right, the number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Ball award to the Green Bay Packers as they continue to roll 4-0 as they beat the San Francisco 49ers on the road 17-3. Ball award to them. Oh, boy. Colin Kaepernick, man, he is just struggling. And you got to remember about Colin Kaepernick now. He took the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. They came one game away. They made it to the NFC Championship again. Should have made it to the championship or to the Super Bowl again. And he has just fallen. How the mighty have fallen. 13 of 25, 160 yards passing, 1 interception. And it's strange, and I mentioned this earlier a little bit, but it bears repeating. It's strange to me, and I watch these guys this morning. I always have on the TV kind of in the background. I always tell the story. Mike and Mike. And so Mike and Mike is on there. And they have Chris Carter in there, who I'm definitely not a fan of, especially recently. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. So they're in there, and they're talking about the Miami Dolphins and how they have Ndamukong Suh in a system that's not, particularly good of his skill set. And they're saying how if you spend all of this money on this guy, you got to set the defense up around him. Okay, remember that. Bookmark that point. They're saying that Ndamukong Suh is struggling. He doesn't have a sack. He hadn't had close to a sack. That he lost yesterday to the Jets in that game. I think it was in England or whatever. And so Ndamukong Suh doesn't look like himself. And they're saying how the Miami Dolphins are wrong because they have him doing something that he wasn't used to doing or that he did when he was in Detroit. Okay? They make that point. But then on the flip side, out the same side of their mouth, the other side of their mouth, actually, I think is the way it goes, they'll talk about how bad Colin Kaepernick is. But they don't mention the fact that they have Colin Kaepernick doing something that he isn't used to doing himself. You gave Colin Kaepernick this big deal. Now, it has a lot of provisions in it, a lot of ways that they can get out of the deal. It's a lot of non-guaranteed money, and it's all performance-based. I get all of that. But in effect, you gave Colin Kaepernick all this money. You said that he was your guy, but you have him doing things that he's not comfortable at. So it's very hypocritical when you talk about one player in one way, but then it should be a different way for a quarterback. or for Colin Kaepernick, or a guy with that skill set, a guy that ran the pistol offense in college, and now you got him trying to, do things that he's just not good at, and then the team isn't good as well. When you couple that, along with the fact that this guy is probably like a fish out of water and what he does skill set wise, once again, he's already proven that he can lead a team to great things. In taking the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago and great success in the playoffs under Jim Harbaugh. But over the last couple of years, even the last year Harbaugh was there, man, they've kind of dialed back the things that made him successful at Nevada and made him successful in his first couple of years, man. But it's very, very picky and choosy on how they talk about that scenario, about, adapting to a player's skill or making that player adapt to what you like to do as a coaching staff. It's very, very hypocritical. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. From the Sluggo, he said, the NFL is a quarterback-driven league. No quarterback, no chance of winning regardless of how great your front four is. I agree with that. From Thorny Switch, how long till J.J. Watt get the heck out of Houston? I don't know his contract situation, but I imagine the next one. And they're not going to be able to pay him. From Sluggo, Doug, I'm going to assume Rick is not partial to brothers playing quarterback. He goes and gets a no-name player from UVA who couldn't hold the jock straps of the guys he's passed on. Just saying. You also remember, who was it? Everett Golson. You remember there was some conversation about Everett Golson leaving Notre Dame, and the final couple of teams, one of the final teams was Georgia. Now, I don't know exactly what happened, what transpired, and obviously Everett Golson went on to Florida State. By the way, ball award to Florida State. Don't look now. Florida State is undefeated. It's a ball award to them. But Georgia was one of the teams supposedly that Everett Golson was interested to transferring to, and it just didn't happen. So the way it looks to me is they chose Grayson Lambert over Everett Golson, or they put more of an emphasis in recruiting Grayson Lambert than they did Everett Golson, and that's not a good move. Once again, I don't know how much the fact that it's a black quarterback has to do with it. Somebody mentioned several times yesterday on the Facebook chat discussion we were having about it that, Mark Richt had Charlie Ward at Florida State. He also had DJ Shockley when he was at Georgia. Well, DJ Shockley was Mark Richt's first year, so he kind of inherited him. And then also at Florida State, Charlie Ward was the quarterback, but Mark Richt was a coordinator. He didn't make the final decision on talent. He didn't make the final decision on who they brought in there as a quarterback. So I don't know if that's an argument as well. All I know is that there's a bunch of quarterbacks that have been balling their ass off from the state of Georgia. It's Georgia now. And remember, the Georgia Bulldogs get their pick. They're going to get you. If they want you and you're from Georgia, they should be able to get you. And a lot of these great players that we've seen over the last couple of years, man, have just gone off and done very, very well. That's all I'm saying. It just makes you go, To quote the great Arsenio Hall. I mean, that was humiliating this past weekend. That was humiliating. And once again, another lost season for the Georgia Bulldog faithful. Another lost season. I don't care what you say. I'm hearing all of this stuff, but all we got to do is win out. Yeah, that's fine. The way you got your ass kicked this weekend, you're not going to be in the Final Four. You're not going to be in a position. If Georgia makes it to the Final Four and somehow makes it to a national championship, man, I'll quit doing radio. I'll quit doing radio for a day. I will quit doing radio for a day if the Georgia Bulldogs make it to the Final Four. It's not going to happen. It was too embarrassing a loss. Like if you go in there and you play a close game against Alabama, 30 to 27 or something like that, and you look good doing it, that goes a long way for the voters and people making the decision about this Final Four and saying it's just a bad week for them. And then you go on and roll the rest of the season, that's fine. You can climb out of that. But not this loss. Not this loss. No way, no how. They got humiliated. They got totally outclassed. See, that's the thing about it. And what you saw from Alabama this weekend, speaking of which, Alabama only got one loss as well. In a game where they had 5 turnovers to Ole Miss. So So Alabama's back in the conversation. This is the difference between a roster full of 5 stars and a roster full of 4 stars and a couple of 5 stars. Alabama's talent looked supreme this past weekend on the road once again against the Georgia Bulldogs. Totally outclassed. All right, when we get back from the break, hour number 2 of the Doug Stewart Show, we'll read more of your chat and we'll do what we do. Man Talk Monday. Don't go away. Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. We're back. The 2 Live Stews are back on air every Saturday morning on WGST at 11 a.m.
It's Sports Talk with Hot Sauce. Special thanks to our sponsor, Bruce Hagen, Hagen-Law.com, for making it happen. Thanks, Bruce. You the man, the people's lawyer.
Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BV Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bvmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bvmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you.
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt, specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975 and work it out.
Hour number 2, baby. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Man Talk Monday, Ballers and Busters. Man, thank y'all so much for joining you folk. I really do appreciate it on this rainy Monday. Yes, sir. Just fantastic. College football, NFL. A lot of great stuff going on in the world of sports, man. Just time of the year is just tremendous. I mean, absolutely tremendous. Ball award, while I'm thinking about it right now, and it's up on my screen. Ball award to Todd Gurley. Praise his holy name. 19 carries, 146 yards. As the Rams beat the Cardinals. Now, that's a good test. If you go for 146 on that Rams defense or on that Cardinals defense, that's saying something. First time playing in the NFL, first game back from the injury last year, man. One thing I will say, and I saw a discussion about this past weekend, and it was all tied into that whole conversation about should players, to the Leonard Fournette stuff, should players forego their college eligibility to get the money and, put their name in the NFL draft. I will say this. These running backs these days and the technology and the science behind these knee injuries and these serious ligament injuries to these players, man, is eons past when I played. We're talking, 25 years ago. I mean, it's just eons. You saw what Adrian Peterson did when he got back from that torn ACL. And now Todd Gurley looks like a brand new man. It's like they gave this guy freaking bionics or something like that. First game back from an ACL tear, 19 carries, 146 yards. And it's not even been a year. Back when I was coming through, man, it was like 2 years. It was a 2-year process pretty much to get back to what you would be considered 100%. And now these guys are coming back strong as hell, man. Thank God for Todd Gurley, man, looking healthy in his first time out for the St. Louis Rams against a good defense. As the Rams do win, 24-22. Gurley had 146, and you saw the last run he had. I saw the highlights, obviously. The last run that he had, it was just a break in the run clock out. But he could have probably run for a touchdown, probably another 30 yards, and he just dropped down on his backside to keep the clock going and run the clock out. But, man, that's great news to see that young man has come back bigger and stronger than ever. Let me read more of your chat, man. Thank you for the chat. From the 47th problem, the Georgia Bulldog administration, coaches, and fan base are satisfied with being mediocre. They expect no more than just being good, not great. I've said that before. I really do believe that. From Redland Kirk. So, Doug, are you saying that the Georgia Bulldogs don't want a ninja at the quarterback position? Laugh out loud. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's very interesting that they miss, seemingly, or have missed over the last couple of years on some of these top-rated, top-looking quarterbacks in college football. Just off the top of my head, Deshaun Watson for Clemson, Cam Newton that played for the Auburn Tigers. They told the man they wanted to play tight end. And then Blake Sims, another Georgia kid that looked phenomenal last year. Go back and look at Blake Sims' numbers at Alabama. Get it out. But Lane Kiffin had him playing tremendous last year. And if you look at this Jake Coker kid for Alabama, he's not that good. He's not that good at all. In comparison to what Blake Sims did last year. Now, he had Amari Cooper, probably had a little bit better offense around him, but that's fine. Man, Blake Sims had 400-plus yard games last year. And Coker, it looks like he can't hit the backside of a barn a lot of times. He did good this past weekend. Obviously, they had a great win. But you can see that they're missing on some very talented. Everybody else sees they're very talented. Okay? Everybody else can see they're very talented. Urban Meyer could see Cam Newton was talented. Auburn, Gus Malzahn could see Cam Newton was talented. Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin could see Blake Sims was talented. Dabo up there at Clemson can see that Deshaun Watson is talented, and they basically gave those guys the hand, like they were on Martin. Gave him the hand. Talk to the hand. Nick Cash, Charlie Strong, not doing nothing, and he making like $5 million a year. If he keeps it up, what he's doing, he's going to be gone. Oh yeah, Buster Award to the Texas Longhorns. Now listen, I like Charlie Strong when you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, but he has to get a buster. I know that the talent was depleted at Texas when Mac Brown left. How, I don't know, because you are Texas. Now, initially, I thought about it this past weekend, and I posted something that is something going on at TCU. The NCAA is going to start investigating around there, and my whole point, my whole theory behind that statement is that in the state of Texas, just like with Georgia, but in Texas, the state of Texas, you should not lose the recruiting battle with anybody. You can't. You shouldn't. Based off the history, based off the money behind the program, based off the alumni, the boosters, based on the facilities, you should never be in a position to lose talented players from the state of Texas to a school like TCU, as well as Baylor, as well as Texas Tech. But I've come off that a little bit, did a little research, and found out that TCU actually has a bigger football budget than Texas. They do. So a lot of it makes sense. I understand it now. And also, it's a different day and time. And I got to get off this thinking. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I got to get off this thinking that Notre Dame and Texas and Michigan and Ohio State and USC are just going to have any kid that they want from their state, because it's not the same. I got to acknowledge that. And Ryan used to say this all the time, and I used to fight him on it. But the more the years have passed by, I'm starting to agree with it, that it's just different now. And the fact that your name is Notre Dame in Texas and Oklahoma and USC means a lot less to these kids today than it used to. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And there's a lot of factors into that. There's now all of these teams have TV deals. All of these college football teams are seen on national TV week in and week out. There's so much cable programming that you're going to get a chance to be seen on national TV. So whereas Notre Dame and Texas had that advantage and USC had that advantage 20, 25 years ago and beyond, it's not the same. And these kids run these high-powered offenses, and they can score a bunch of points with everybody. And so the spread offense has kind of been an X factor into recruiting as well. It's just different. It's just different, and you can see that at Texas. And I feel sorry for Charlie Strong because he's dead man walking. But to lose to TCU 50-7 is even more humiliating to getting your ass kicked between the hedges in Athens by the Alabama Crimson Tide. So they got to get a Buster Award. I'm sorry, Charlie Strong. I'm sorry. And you did great things at Louisville. I don't know if he's even going to get the chance to turn this thing around and bring in his players for a couple of years and vie for that Big 12, man, because right now it is bad. 1-4. They get destroyed yesterday by a freaking Horned Frog. Hey, if you're in my age wheelhouse, did you ever think in your lifetime that you would see the New Orleans Saints win a Super Bowl and the Texas Longhorn get manhandled by the TCU freaking Horned Frogs? My. Never thought it in a million years. Never thought it in a million years. Texas is a powerhouse. The Longhorns. Not so much these days, man. Things done change in college sports. All right, when we get back from the break, more of your chat. That's all I'm going to do is read chat. All I'm going to do in the next segment is read chat. It's almost too much to do on a Monday during football season. Too many ballers, too many busters, but we'll do our best to get out as many as we can. All right, don't go away. The Doug Stewart Show. Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU.
The Doug Stewart Show presents another episode of Stories with Uncle Dougie, straight out of Monk's Corner edition.
So my best friend, man, Bubba, he gets on the bus, and he sits down, and he's, like, distraught. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? And we're on the bus on the way to school. We're, like, in 9th, 10th grade, and we're on the bus on the way to school. And he says, my old man Yeah, he shot a man last night. I was like, wait a minute. What did you say? And I had heard these stories before, and rest in peace, his daddy's name was Coconut. Coconut was a little guy, probably 5'5", about, 140 pounds. So he's a little dude. And little dudes, man, they don't got the tolerance to wrestle with you or fight or put up their hands or something like that, especially old cats like this where I'm from. He's like, my old man stumbled in 4 o'clock in the morning, and I met him in the hallway because he was extra intoxicated. And he looked at me and said, Bubba, I had to shoot a man tonight. And come to find out more of the story, now keep in mind, this was in 1985 or something like this. Coconut was probably in his late 50s, early 60s. And once again, I told you, the story on the street was that he had done this many times before. Come to find out, Coconut had shot 4, maybe 5 people throughout his life in our little town in Moncks Corner, South Carolina. This is not a lie, and I know this seems like a story from the Andy Griffith Show, from Ernest T. Bass. This is not a lie. In my hometown, you can literally shoot people or shoot at people, connect on their lower extremities 4, 5, 6 times, and not go to jail forever.
The Doug Stewart Show.
Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Man Talk Monday. Oh, shouts out to 20 Grand Vodka. Supplied the Two Live Stews tailgate with spirits this past weekend. Real good stuff. As I mentioned on the Two Live Stews show on Saturday, Ryan was talking about 20 Grand Vodka and how it's vodka, premium vodka infused with cognac. I said, ninjas don't love anything more than vodka infused with cognac. So that's a great mix. And so we had it flowing at the tailgate, man. Shouts out to 20 Grand Vodka. Also, shouts out to my folks at Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats is a premium coach service, bus coach service to some of the biggest games in football in the NFL. Check them out online at travelbystats.com. You're trying to take a group, whether that's your church choir, Little League football team, women's group, or whatever it may be. Holla at my folks at Travel by Stats, man. They go to all the big games once again, and your luxury is at a premium in taking care of you and making sure your trip is fantastic. All right, so travelbystats.com. That's travelbystats.com. Tell them that the Doug Stewart Show sent you. To read more of this chat, all I'm going to do this segment is read chat. From Nick, from Togo, Uganda. So Georgia only plays white quarterbacks? Nope, never said that. Clearly that's not the case. But over the last couple of years, that's been the case, but that's not the issue and my point I've been making all day. From Clay Davis's Sheed advisor, Georgia don't want black quarterbacks. From J.B. Jennings, I tried to tell UGA fans that they, quarterback from UGA or UVA, if he was sorry at UVA, it would make you think he was going to be a quality quarterback in the SEC. Yeah. Once again, he had a great game, a great 2-game stretch where he went like something ridiculous, like missed on 3 passes out of like 40. something real crazy like that, but it makes very, very good sense. If he wasn't that good at Virginia in the ACC, why would you think he would be a good quarterback in the SEC? Had a tremendous game against South Carolina. I'm not saying that he's absolutely horrible, but he's not that good. He's not a quarterback that should be on the starting quarterback at the University of Georgia in a year where they thought they had a chance to vie for a national championship. From Clay Davis's sheet advisor, people are really overreacting over Leonard Fournette. He's good, but again, I have 4 running backs from last decade I can take over him. Who are those? Give me those names. Give me those names with that size, that speed, that elusiveness, and that put up the numbers that Leonard Fournette has done in the SEC. Give me the names of those guys. Okay, I said it at the top of the show. I haven't felt this way about a running back that I would say I would include them in the conversation with Herschel and Bo than I have Leonard Fournette. I can't think of another one over the last that was this dominant. There have been a lot of great backs, don't get me wrong, but to look this dominant, to every time you look at their highlights, they're running away from SEC defenses. When he wants to, he runs over guys like it's nothing, the way Bo Jackson and Herschel Walker did. Nah, give me a name. Give me a name. Give me those 4 guys. You said 4 guys? Give me those 4 guys. And we'll discuss it. From Bussa, he says, man, I was really rooting for Georgia. What's going on down there? From Al the Bandit, man, the Falcons have a chance to do some damage. I think they may have the easiest schedule in the NFL. Yeah, the Falcons, in effect, played the toughest part of their schedule in the first 4 weeks, and they're undefeated. They're undefeated. He says, besides the weak division games against the Carolina Panthers, which Carolina's undefeated, but everybody and their mama feel like that it's a mirage, and to quote the great Bugs Bunny, it's a mirage. They also play Washington. That's a win. Should be a win. Tennessee should be a win. San Francisco should be a win. Minnesota should be a win. That's going to be a tough game, but they should win. And Jacksonville. They could get swept by Carolina and lose to Indy and still go 13-3. That's true, which shouldn't happen. They should win at least one of the games against Carolina in the division. Falcons are looking real good right now. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. J.B. Jennings, ball award to Todd Gurley. That boy running like he's still at Georgia. From Uncle Mike, Gurley showed his ass yesterday. That's right, talked about that earlier. Clay Davis's sheet advisor. With the way Florida is playing, Georgia might lose to them again. I don't buy into Florida, even though Florida had this great win this past weekend over Ole Miss. Great win for Florida. Ball award for them for that. But there's something about Florida that makes me not want to buy into them quite yet. Great win once again over an Ole Miss team who a lot of people thought was one of the best teams in the country, including me. 38-10 over Ole Miss. So great win for Florida. I'm still not. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I got to see more of them to believe in them and to buy into them. They look kind of tentative early this year, but that was a great win yesterday. I can't take it away from them. From Fat Boy McCoon, Todd Gurley is a beast. Yes, he is. Clay Davis's sheet advisor. I think Bama's going to beat LSU. They use the same format they did Georgia and will beat them. See, one thing about Alabama is I think a team that relies on a tailback and to run the ball in between the tackles is going to have problems because Alabama just got real, uglies, big uglies, nasties up on that defensive line, man. So teams over the last couple of years that have been able to have success against Alabama have been teams like Oregon and teams like Auburn that run that spread offense. They spread the defense out. So we'll see, man. From Tight Sigma, he says, busted a Saban for abusing dogs on national TV all up in Peter's face. Okay, I kind of get that. J.B. Jennings Stringer, and people were saying all weekend long, they were this meme with Mike Vick talking about Nick Saban abusing dogs, but he's not going to jail. What's the deal with that? It's not funny. From Thorny Switch, no, Doug, everyone in the South is not carefree. That's just UGA's new position. Or example, see what Bama did to get their program back on track. Yeah. Cali Boy J, I hate to do it, but I have to give a buster to my 49ers. Our offense is deplorable. Tight Sigma Buster Award to my Tide for drowning more dogs than Mike Vick did. See, there it goes. There it goes. Mike Vick references to the dogs. JB Jennings, Doug being lazy with those kids. Man, my kids would have been off that blanket before your ass sat back down. No, they wouldn't have. For Miss Mocha Bella, now Doug, wrong for that. Mason knew what time it was. Brian Hill, Doug, you can't shake them kids no more. Oh, but the oldest kid, Miles, I told a story earlier. I had my nephews on this blanket, and I said if you got off the blanket, you'd be eaten up by sharks and alligators. The oldest nephew, I guess he's a little bit more gullible than the young one. He didn't get off that blanket to save his life. From Tight Sigma, again, he says, 4-year-old stood up and looked you straight in the eye and told you who was in charge, laugh out loud. It was probably hard for him to respect a grown man his same height. It was hard to respect a grown man his same height. Oh, hell no. Wait a minute. Oh, hell to the no. You clowning? What's your name, Tight Sigma? I haven't even seen that name in the chat room before. He new to the chat room, and he in here clowning the host? Oh, hell no. Suspend his ass. Tree. Suspend his ass.
Wait, calm down.
Suspend Tight Sigma from the chat. First
Douglas.
day I even see this man post, and he gonna come up in here clowning? Oh, hell no.
Douglas.
Suspend him. Can we kick him out the chat room at least for a day or two?
Okay.
We gotta have some type of rules around here. And one of the rules is you don't clown the host on your first day in the chat room.
Whew.
Section 5, paragraph 3, line 4. You do not clown the host your first day in the chat room. I don't care who you are. And he a Sigma? Oh, hell no. A week.
Okay.
A week. He has been suspended from the chat for a week.
Can we talk about it?
No, we can't talk about it.
Okay.
Suspend his ninja ass for a week.
You can still listen, Tight Sigma.
Yeah, but you can't post no more for a week. Showed you. Then he a Sigma. From that ninja, Child Services of Line 1, Doug. Whatever. Chico the Alpha. Ryan was a true-ass Saturday. Laugh out loud. Fat Boy McCoon. Ryan almost got y'all fired. I mean, he still may have. I mean, we talked about it. I mean, it was good while it lasted. I'm not sure they're even going to let us back in the building next week. It was kind of refreshing, though. Kind of felt like old days. From the 47th problem, the Falcons said, I got all authority to whip your ass. From String and Clay, I think UGA can run on Florida, so they have a better chance. Bama D-line is too much for Georgia. From J.B. Jennings, UGA is one-dimensional. Ain't nobody throwing on Florida secondary. If you stop the run, you beat UGA. It's that simple. And once again, no disrespect to Nick Chubb, and he's put up tremendous numbers. He just doesn't look special. You know what it kind of reminds me of? And to a lesser degree. I'm not saying Nick Chubbs is this guy, but you remember Rashaan Salam when he was at Colorado? He got all of those yards, did all of those great things statistic-wise. I think he even won the Heisman Trophy. But I never looked at Rashaan Salam and said, he's special. Like, I never said to myself, Rashaan Salam, even though I think he rushed for over 2,000 yards, I never said to myself he's special like Bo Jackson and Herschel Walker. Same way I kind of feel about Nick Chubb. I mean, he's great. He's got the numbers. He gets over 140 yards week in and week out. But I never once said to myself to compare Nick Chubb to Herschel Walker and Bo Jackson. Leonard Fournette, I do. Leonard Fournette, I can see the resemblance. The same style, the same dominance, the same explosiveness out of Leonard Fournette is what I used to see out of Bo Jackson and Herschel Walker. That guy is special, man. That guy is special. Even to a more degree, if you talk about Georgia running backs, I could compare Todd Gurley to Bo Jackson and Herschel Walker more so than I could Nick Chubb. It's just my eye for the running back position. I'm telling you. I just think that I could be like a talent scout. And Nick Chubb is great, but he ain't no Todd Gurley, and he ain't no Leonard Fournette. I mean, it's just as simple as that. I mean, I'm sorry. You put a little damper on today's show. Have to kick ninjas out the chat room. But that's what I have to do. I'll do it. You know, birds fly, fish swim, I sing, and I kick ninjas out the chat room for being disrespectful. Especially Sigmas. How dare you, sir? How dare you? More of your chat. More ballers. More busters coming back on the Doug Stewart Show. You don't play that mess around here. You crazy, man. You must be cool. Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. We're back. The 2 Live Stews are back on air every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on WGST. It's Sports
Please
Talk with
look
hot
at what
sauce.
I've just sent
Special
to
thanks
you.
to our sponsor, Bruce Hagen, at Hagen-Law.com for
No,
making it happen.
I need you to
640
listen to me
WGST in
and go
Atlanta.
out of
Search
it.
640 WGST on iHeartRadio worldwide.
Calm down. Look at the ish I just sent you.
What?
I cannot breathe.
K3000 is a real manifesto. Every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means
He can't have no
season,
job.
commitment. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport, draft your team.
He ain't got no
It's
job.
like a new season
This
every
man wrote
time
a
you
book.
play. So you're never
Oh my
stuck with
God.
the same players. Last
Wait a
year,
minute, now he's
$300
playing
million
into the whole-
were won at
the whole
DraftKings.com,
K3000
and
manifesto
you could be
thing.
next to
Because
win
This
big.
is, no.
Go to
No.
DraftKings.com
He's
now
passionate.
and enter promo code STEW to play for free. That's STEW for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STEW, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STEW. All right, welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Buster Award goes to Tree. You gotta tell me when the microphone is hot. That's one of your main jobs. That's one of your main roles. So I don't know how much they heard of us in the break just now. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Tree, get on the microphone here for a second. Now you don't want to get on the microphone.
Blame it on the Manifesto King. Like, dollars and cents can come on here and call and try to hijack the show, but nobody, and I mean nobody, is doing it big like the great K3000.
Shouts out to you, K3000. I love you, folk. But, bruh, your new name is Tommy from Martin. You can't have a job. And wrote this entire soliloquy / manifesto. Did you pull that straight? And our microphones weren't muted, and so I think y'all heard a lot of the conversation. We were astounded by that novel that he wrote in the chat room. Bro, for real, where do you work at, man? Seriously. Oh, maybe you work third shift. I think he worked third shift. And I appreciate it. Don't get it twisted. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I really appreciate the passion and the love that you have for this show, bruh. But I'm going to say this once again, and I say this usually once a month. Don't lose your job because of this show, bruh. If you're supposed to be breaking down spreadsheets and interviewing people or hauling wood to some particular person's house or whatever at your job, don't lose your job because of this show, bruh. You've been warned. When you lose your job, don't come asking me for an internship or something like that because we don't pay them. Okay? This is the Doug Stewart Show, man. Thank you so much for joining your boy on this Man Talk Monday. Tree, come on now with the microphone. I almost think you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I almost think that she does it on purpose.
Why would I do that?
I don't know. Your diabolical mind. I don't know, man.
I'm Esther, and I'm Okay, that's fine.
You are holiness personified. Speaking of which, did you go to Impact yesterday and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show? Did you go to church yesterday?
I did. You missed it.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
We talked about sex and spirituality.
What?
So I know you didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
Joe's singing ass. Yes, church was good yesterday.
Okay, wait a minute. Did you not hear what I just did to that Sigma dude that came in here talking smack, disrespecting the host? Did you not hear?
I can't. Y'all, I can't. I got to get you back for Saturday, not having better. You didn't have my back at all.
What happened Saturday? And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show.
The Two Live Stews, WGST 640 AM, acting like some damn.
Well, that was Ryan.
Yeah, but you supposed to have my back. You quick to check me up in here in Larry's office.
Shouts out to Larry, speaking of which. We hadn't brought up his name in a while.
He came to the party, too.
Larry and his wife came out to the meet and greet, mix and mingle party Friday night of the Doug Stewart Show weekend. He took a couple pictures. Did you take any pictures of Larry?
Yeah, there's some on you can see it in the Facebook group. You guys join the Facebook group, The Doug Stewart Show.
Yeah. And you can see some of the pictures of Larry and his wife. Or either his chick on the side, one of the two. I'm not sure. Yeah, if you join the Doug Stewart Show Facebook group, you can see some pictures of Larry. Hey, this segment is brought to you by my folks from Strickland Security, man. Atlanta is just a phenomenal city. You know I'm a fan. You know I'm ATL ho till the end of time. You know, I'm ATL ho. But folks do be kicking indoors around here, man. In some parts of the town, you've seen it all on the news. So you can't take it lightly. You got to protect your family, your house, your home when you're not there, and you have to do that with an alarm system. Holler at my folks at Strickland Security. StricklandSecurity.com. They have 55 years of combined experience in the business. They can get you an alarm system starting at just $15. Protect your house for $15. You can't beat that with a stick. You can't beat that with a stick. So they can get you the minimum alarm system. They can fix the alarm system that you have, get you up and running, or they can give you the big boy with all the bells and the whistles, the coup de grace, cameras and all of that stuff. Strickland Security can handle anything that you throw at them. So check them out online at StricklandSecurity.com. That's StricklandSecurity.com, and tell them that the Doug Stewart Show sent you. Yeah. Let me read more of this chat. From Clay Davis's sheet advisor, again, these lazy-ass coaches and offensive coordinators continue to force a square into a round peg. I agree in the whole conversation about quarterbacks not doing and playing in systems that highlight their skill set. In the case of like Colin Kaepernick, from Nick Cash, UGA is not upper echelon, point blank, period. They are just a good regional SEC school for Georgia folks to root for. Ha ha. I disagree. Recruiting says differently. Recruiting says Georgia brings in some of the best talent and the state of Georgia has some of the best talent in the country, like top 5. Numbers-wise, we did this last week, and I talked about per capita, how South Carolina is number 2 behind Louisiana But numbers-wise, Georgia is probably top 5. You know, there's always Florida, California, Texas, Ohio brings a lot of great talent. And then Georgia's right there in the conversation, man. So to not vie for a national championship, to be behind in the conversation to TCU and Baylor is not right. Georgia historically and still today has better talent on their roster than those type of programs. And so it's a disappointment when they fall to a team like Alabama at home the way they did this past weekend. From Andre Elam, I'm giving the 49ers management a bust award for giving his ass that contract anyway. I'm talking about Colin Kaepernick from Texas Tide. The same thing happens with Georgia every year. If y'all like that, keep Rick. If you want it to change, you got to cut him loose. Simple as that. No disrespect to the great Mark Rick. You got to try something different. I talked about Clemson and UGA. Georgia, 1980, winning the national championship. Clemson, 1981, winning the national championship. And every year, you think that this is going to be your year if you're a Clemson fan or a Georgia fan. Georgia's out of that conversation now, and Clemson handled their business and beat Notre Dame this past weekend. They're still in it. They're still in it. Great win by Clemson. They kind of put the brakes on, I think, in the second half. The game was much closer than it looked. And Notre Dame's not a bad team. I'm not saying Notre Dame's a bad team or they're overrated or anything like that. But they got a great win this past week in the Clemson Tigers. From this Mocha Bella, Kevin Durant called out Stephen A. Smith on saying KD will end up in L.A. with the Lakers. KD called him a liar. Yeah, I saw that whole conversation. Because of my relationship with Stephen A. Smith, I'm just not going to even address that whole story. He's frat. It's not a good look, though. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for him to say that his sources told him this, but then have to explain later that it wasn't anybody close to Kevin Durant. You know, kind of have to come back and fix what he said a little bit. Backpedaling. It's not a good look. I heard that whole story. From Fatboy McCoon, Stephen A. trying to slander Durant. From Encyclopedia Brown, Stephen A. always swears he's friends with these athletes. Like, no, dude, you are the media. They don't tell you anything real. From Nick Cash, I'm giving Stephen A. Smith a Lifetime Buster Award. Laugh out loud. We can nominate him for the Ball Penis Award. I will do that. That's you guys is doing. That's fine. But for the record, I don't like to get into conversation whether I agree or disagree. And Lord knows there's been a lot of disagreeing with Stephen A. Smith's stances over the last couple of years, in particular the last couple of months. But if y'all want to nominate him for a Buster Award, I can understand that. He's always got something to say bad about black folks, man. Then he gives others a pass. He always running down the brothers, but every now and then he'll pretend he's on the brother's side. Man, he's a buster. He's been nominated for a Ball Penis Award. We'll leave it at that. From Sluggo, Stephen A. know he's talking ish about blacks. We'll get him an attaboy from the powers that be. It pays well. Let's move on. From Stringer, Ball Award to Jason Whitlock for leaving the four-letter network. That network doesn't like personalities that rock the boat. So I totally am on the opposite side of you. Jason Whitlock is – I'm not a fan of Jason Whitlock. Let's put it like that. We used to call him Uncle Ruckus. Do with that what you want. Gary Joyner, Jason Whitlock is a tap-dancing Uncle Ruckus. There it is. Fatboy McCoon, they haven't even mentioned the Falcons on ESPN. Yeah, bust the award for the Puppet Factory. That's what I call ESPN. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Once again, guys, it's always kind of awkward for me to just straight out diss ESPN because I got a lot of friends up there. We had a great run over 5 years up there. But they got some type of vendetta against Atlanta and the Atlanta sports fan. They did this little kind of like a little bit type of thing where they had some dude, I don't even remember his name, that works for the Puppet Factory. He came to Atlanta supposedly and talked to Atlanta Falcons fans and he couldn't find any. What? He was like in the middle of the day during lunchtime just pulling up the people on the street and asking them about the Falcons, and they were like, what are you talking about? You know, the whole thing seemed very contrived, and ESPN has always had this thing about Atlanta sports fans and how we don't support our teams. That's a lie. If you put a quality product out there, we'll support it. But if you suck, we not. That's how it is everywhere. And they did this little thing, man, kind of dissing Atlanta sports fans. Why don't you just come to the damn tailgate on Saturdays or on Sundays? And you'll see fans. You put out there a mediocre product, we're not going to show up. Damn it, we got too much other things to do. And that's everywhere for the most part. I remember when who was it? Mike Bibby. Mike Bibby played for the Hawks, and they had a game in Boston, and it was echoes in there. The place was so empty. These great Boston Celtics fans, but they sucked at the time, and the fans didn't come out there. And Bibby called them out. Stop this. What is it with ESPN in Atlanta? Busters. Puppet Factory nominated for a Buster Award. How about that? Puppet Factory nominated for a Buster Award. Jason Whitlock nominated just because. And y'all nominated Stephen A. Smith. Write this down. Damn it. Don't go away, the Doug Stewart Show. We're back. The Two Live Stews are back on air every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on WGST. It's sports talk with hot sauce. Special thanks to our sponsor, Bruce Hagen, at Hagen-Law.com for making it happen.
640 WGST in Atlanta. Search 640 WGST on iHeartRadio worldwide.
Yes! In life, things happen, good and bad. And being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes!
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
I only want to see you only in the purple rain. Ow! Yeah! Woo!
The soulful sounds of Doug Stewart is not for everyone. Side effects may include delusion.
Caller, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what do you want to talk about?
Man, this is Chico the Alpha. What's up, baby?
Chico the Alpha, how you doing, brother?
All I want to say is that I want to give my appreciation for that rendition.
From Run CNC. He says, what the hell is this? Who got 600 apples so that we can hear Doug sing another song? One song isn't enough. What the hell is this? That's from Run CNC. Thank you, Run CNC. People commenting on my singing a little bit. From Chef Ivan the Great. He says, we don't want to read that one. He's talking about a song called Acid Rain. I sung Purple Rain, not Acid Rain, so I don't know what you're talking about, sir. From Gary Joyner. He says, I felt the pain in that song, Doug. Yes, you did. You felt the pain and the sorrow and the burden. Just like Prince. I could have been a stand-in for Prince and Purple Rain in the movie.
Other side effects include nausea, dry mouth, complete hearing impairment for a 24-hour period.
The Purple Rain. Honey, I know times are changing. Woo!
And scientific studies have shown these sounds to be an effective contraceptive. The Doug Stewart Show. Sports talk. Straight, no chaser.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
The world's heavyweight champion of sports and guy talk. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Oh, my. Ball award to Devontae Freeman, man. From the 47th problem, he says, 7 TDs, 252 yards, 196 receiving yards. I'm sorry, Tevin Coleman. You have officially been Wally pipped. Yeah, they drafted Tevin Coleman to be the starting running back for the Atlanta Falcons. That is a wrap. I absolutely love this story of Devontae Freeman, man. Really hadn't been given the opportunity. He actually said that after the game. It's hard to show what you can do if you don't get the opportunity, and you can't get into a flow. This man has taken that running back position, man, for the Atlanta Falcons. I'm so happy for him, man. So proud. You talk about a downhill runner. That ninja runs downhill, man. Ball award to Devontae Freeman. Let me grab a call. Caller, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What's your name? Where you calling from? What you want to talk about?
Hey, Dougie, this is K3000. What's up, baby? What's up?
This is who?
K3000, the Manifesto King.
K3000!
What's up, brother?
hey, what's up, folk? Hey, folk, I got to tell you, man. I'm sure you heard me talk about, man. I really appreciate the love. But, bro, don't lose your job because of this show, folk.
No.
Don't lose your job because of this, folk.
Hey, I'm self-employed, brother, believe me. I work outside, Doug. I think I told you, way back. But since the rain has hit us so hard, we're pretty slow right now.
Oh, I got you.
I have a little bit too much time on my hands.
Gotcha. Okay, man. Hey, bro, I appreciate the love, man. I'm not going to get a chance to read today's latest manifesto.
Two shows.
Right. It's going to take me 2 shows to do that, but I'll read it tomorrow. I'll get Tree to remind me to read it tomorrow, man. Thank you, brother, for all the love, though.
Hey, you might want to put background music and everything with that one and make our book out of that?
Yes, sir. Hey, K3000, Thank you, folk.
Hey, I love you guys, man. I appreciate the show so much. It's like oxygen to me, man. I breathe this, all right? Hey, I appreciate you and Tree. Hey, everybody else in the studio. I don't know everybody's name, but all love to you, baby.
Thanks so much, man. That's my man K3000 right there. Yeah. If you're in the chat and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, if you're in the chat, I'm sure you saw at one point today's latest manifesto. And so it makes sense. He's one of the dudes that work outside. There's a lot of rain. Obviously, it's a freaking hurricane. Was coming through a couple of days ago. So, cats that do outside work, man, they can't work in the weather. So he's got a lot of time. He's really into the show. And he puts it in writing. From Bussa, I'm sipping some blue juice for my frat, Tight Sigma. You're going to sip some. You need to pour out a little liquor for his ass, too. Because he's dead to me for the next day or so. From K-Mac, Doug, how's the family in South Carolina? Did y'all talk about that already? Yeah, my mother's fine. She said there's a little bit of flooding in her yard, or just part of the yard, but she's fine. Everything is good. Downtown Charleston, man, from what I understand, is really, really bad. From K-Mac, Doug, how's the family? Or from KC, pour out some liquor for Tight Sigma. Damn right, pour out a little bit of liquor for him. Derek, yeah, Tree is getting a BPA for leaving the mic on. Yeah, Tree is nominated. We've nominated, this is the most nominees we've had for a Boy Penis Award this quick ever. Tree's nominated. Jason Whitlock's nominated. Y'all nominated Stephen A. Smith. It was somebody else was nominated as well. So yeah, a lot of Boy Peanut Award nominees thus far early on a Monday. From That Ninja. Yes, Tree? Yes? Okay. From That Ninja. Doug, nothing gets done for these 2 hours. I think that's a good thing. That's actually a good thing. But once again, disclaimer, don't lose your job listening to TDSS. Don't. From KC, this chat takes production down in a lot of companies. With JB Jennings, breaking down spreadsheets, bah ha 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 ha. I'm doing that ish as we speak, but why hauling wood though? Sluggo, man, I'm effing rolling in this beer. Damn. Ronald Cameron, hey Doug, nothing wrong with working third shifts. Laugh a lot. Oh, ain't nothing wrong working third shifts. I'm looking for a third shift job right now myself. That ninja, this is just great. Great way to get the day started. Clay Davis' sheet advisor. K3000 writing Harry Potter novels and stuff. The man wrote an actual novel. The man wrote a novel, and I will read it tomorrow. It's going to take a couple of segments. Maybe we'll break it up into parts. Maybe that's what we'll do, Tree. From Chico the Alpha, K3000, new name is Enoch Pratt, because you write libraries. Togo, Uganda. Tree gets the BPA for Saturday also. What'd you do Saturday? Oh, trying to reel us in? Is that why, Tree?
I guess.
Tree got a little taste of the real stews this past Saturday. And, I don't know if the real stews are going to work on that platform, on that station. Shouts out to everybody at 640 WGST, but I don't know if they bargained for what they got this past Saturday. Dobby says Tree been slipping lately. Yeah, a lot of shade by Tree over the last couple of weeks. How could you throw shade at my singing? How could you do that? If you throw shade on my singing, just imagine what you throw shade at anything. From Nick Cash, I love a hot mic, laugh out loud. I don't. That's going to get us in trouble. From K3000, or from Gary Joyner, K3000, that manifesto is awesome. Cleota72, laughing my ass off. This is another reason why I love the show. We get behind the scenes ish. That wasn't. We didn't plan that. Harvey Scott, laughing my ass off. Tree and Doug, y'all out of control. Al the Bandit. I love this show. Man, thank y'all. From Thorny Switch. Maybe we should start putting the microphone, unmuting the microphone on purpose, Tree. They like that. I'm glad we didn't say anything really inflammatory. Dollars and cents. Frat, we got to rise up like 5 sigmas up in this piece. We have more sigmas per capita. You do? I got love for sigmas. I'm cool with a couple of them. The 2 or 3 that I know out there. But you can't come up on here a tight sigma. And I hope you're still listening. I hope you didn't turn the channel because we kick you off for a couple of days out in the chat. But you just can't come up here disrespecting my authority. To quote the great Cartman from that cartoon show. I can't remember what the name of the cartoon show is. KC, Doug penalized Tight Sigma for targeting the host. Damn right. Kim Jane, do not try, Doug. Do not try me around this piece. We still have that availability as well. Put some hot lead on your ass. Turn your ass around, Tight Sigma. From Derek, he says, has Doug talked about Patino buying hookers for recruits? I think I did talk about that Friday, or maybe I didn't. Yeah, did I talk about that, Tree? Yeah, man, Buster Award to Nick, to Rick Pitino, man. And then, I know where I talked about it at. I did a full hour-long Periscope from my house, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, to the studio Saturday. In the car, I've got the little attachment thing where I can hook my phone up to it and set it up, and it just, videos me nonstop. And so I don't know why we didn't talk about that on Saturday. Kind of like we already had like a prearranged things we were going to get into. We should have talked about that, though. I don't know what more to even say, though. You heard the story. Rick Pitino, one of his staffers, accused of buying hoes for incoming recruits and players. And Pitino, of course he's denying it. Okay? Of course he's denying it. But he had to know. We aren't stupid. This is almost comparable to the Tom Brady thing with the Deflategate. He had to know about Deflategate. Pitino had to know. Maybe he didn't set it up, but at some point or another, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, at some point or the other, in between the time that this was going on, somebody emailed Rick Pitino anonymously, or somebody pulled him to the side in the hallways at Louisville and said, hey, coach, you know one of your assistants, one of your trusted assistants is buying holes for these players, right? Somebody did that. So he acted like he didn't know nothing or whatever, but as I told you about the Tom Brady thing, he is lying. He knew that this was going on, if it's true. Now, these have been accusations that have not really been substantiated yet. There's a book coming out or something to the degree. But look at that video of him talking about it at the press conference. Come on, man. The world doesn't work like that. Athletics doesn't work like that, okay? Rick Pitino, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, they know everything going on in the locker room with their players and with their team. So don't think for a minute that he didn't know, because he did. And so we nominating his ass for a Buster Award too. Boiled Peanuts / Boiled Peanuts Award as well. Wow, 5 nominees in 20 minutes. Yes, sir. Oh. Yeah. 5 nominees in 20 minutes on the Doug Stewart Show. And actually, that's not our exit music, so we go get rid of that. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. This is more of our exit music right here. We can get this going over here, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. This is more of our exit music right here. All right, we gotta go see Men About Horses. Yes, sir. Oh boy. Hey, thank you so much for joining me today on the Doug Stewart Show. Hey, this is how we do it every single day. If you're new to the show, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Yes, sir. Even though she's been nominated for a Boiled Peanuts Award as well. Thank you, Tree, for all that you did today. Thumbs up to you. Great job. Buster Award to Tree, Tight Sigma, Jason Whitlock, punk ass, Stephen A. Smith, and Rick Pitino. And we might even be missing one. Wow. Great day's work. All right, so thank you, Tree. Also, Ball Award, shouts out to my man, Waterhead Walter. Thank you. Dwayne Vasson, Gerald Oliveri, the engineers to the Doug Stewart Show. As well as all the Stewies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Would you like to advertise on the Doug Stewart Show? You can, man. We have a great listenership. Almost 10,000 followers to the show. Well over 200,000 plus listens to the show. A 60-second ad you can get starting at just $5 on Fiverr.com. We're also looking for a title sponsor to the Doug Stewart Show. Yes. You'd have naming rights to the whole show. Kind of like the Mercedes-Benz, feel in New Orleans and here in Atlanta. It could be your company in the Doug Stewart Show. We're looking for a title sponsor, man. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. All right? Thank you so much for all the participation today on the show. We really do appreciate it. We'll do it again tomorrow, and we'll also read K3000's manifesto over 5 segments. Yes, sir. Same Doug Stewart time, same Doug Stewart channel. Peace.